Sanakya, the Junior Deputy Supervisor for the month of May. And when we're done with the Pledge of Allegiance, I'd ask for a moment of silence for Miss Ruth Neiman, who passed away this week, who's over 100 years old, and she was just a stalwart in this community.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So now, as we usually do, Rohan will get to be sworn in by our, I won't call you the deputy clerk
I
again,
appreciate that.
by our town clerk, Desiree Potvin. Got it right.
Got it right. Just raise your hand, repeat after me. I state your name,
I, Rohan Sanakya,
promise to perform
promise to perform
the duties of
the duties of
Junior Deputy Supervisor
Junior Deputy Supervisor
for the month of May
for the month of May
2018
2018
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Well, as I'm looking at my certificate that I'm going to give to you, I realize that you've now become the deputy supervisor for the month of April. But we will take care of that, and I will get you the right copy. But this certificate of acknowledgement is to certify, this certificate is to acknowledge Rohan Sanakya, who has been bestowed the title of Junior Deputy Supervisor for the month of May 2018, signed by Woodbury Town Supervisor, me. Congratulations. You realize that this is going to be worth a lot of money because it's a typo? Thank you. Okay, we're going to start, you want to, oh, shit. Karen, I'm sorry. I drew a blank, I couldn't remember your name. It's okay. And I'm sorry if I said it 4 letters. Karen, the floor is yours.
I know to turn it on. Excuse me. Hello, my name's Karen Unger. I'm speaking to you as a 37-year resident of Woodbury. This item isn't on the agenda, but I thank Mr. Palermo for letting me speak tonight. I think I'm going to read my comments so I don't forget anything because my cough is not, it's bothering me. I'd like to talk to you regarding the osprey nest that's being placed at the res and the manner in which the decision was made, and I hope you will hear me out. I have several concerns. My nest concerns include the fact that osprey eat fish, and we pay to stock the res with fish. The parks paid $3,000 to stock the res with about 550 fish. Adult osprey eat 2 fish a day. A male and a female nesting at the res would stay in their nest for 5 months from approximately April 1st to August 31st, which is about the same time that our residents fish, boat, and swim there. If they eat 2 fish a day for the approximate 150 days that they're there, that would be about 600 fish eaten, and I don't know how many the young would eat. Why would we pay to stock the res, invite local fishermen to fish, and then invite a predator to eat the fish? My other concerns are the possible cutting or trimming of trees to place a man-made nest, which doesn't sound environmentally friendly to me. Since osprey in the area have already found their nests, I'm not sure that a new one needs to be built. The cost of the installation, who's paying for the labor and the materials? The fact that no other water body in town was seriously considered, I'm thinking Peckman's Pond, and the fear that these shallow divers may decide to dive when swimmers are in the water, or maybe try to grab a fish off a fisherman's line. Will there be nuisance birds like the geese? I'm also concerned that if the town determines there's a problem with the nest in the future and wants to remove or move the nest, the DEC staffers would need to be consulted and would need to be on hand because osprey are federally protected birds. Now, my nest concerns may be for nothing, and these are just my opinions. I'm definitely not an expert on osprey. This might be a wonderful ecological, environmental thing for our community, and it may be that all these concerns were addressed. Which leads me to my next point. I don't know. And I don't know because the decision seems to have been made by only one person on your board. The public was bypassed in this decision. Not all board members were notified. We don't have all the facts. I don't know what research went into this, nor exactly how it came to be. The woman who proposed this never publicly spoke to the town board. What I do know is that a friend of yours, Mr. Palermo, approached you about locating an osprey nest. A meeting with you, your friend, and the heads of the parks and the buildings and grounds departments was held the first week in April, and the decision was made by you to move forward, even though the parks commissioners, when they learned of this, had several concerns. As far as I know, those concerns have not been addressed. There's been no mention of it at a town board meeting, no posting that I found on social media, no public hearing, no public discussion, and not even communication with all of the town board members when the decision was made. In the past, people have had concerns with our town supervisors making decisions without consulting their boards. And you, Mr. Palermo, rightfully made your displeasure known at those meetings. Our previous supervisor was lambasted for making a decision on a town hall without public input, even though his board consisted of all of you, except for Mrs. Hernandez. You agreed with him on the decision, yet he shouldered the blame. And on social media, it's been posted that you're trying to fix the problems of the previous board, even though you are the previous board, except for Mrs. Hernandez. So it seems to me that town supervisors are held to a higher standard than other board members, even though you all have an equal say in town matters. And now I know an osprey nest is nowhere near as expensive as a town hall, and to some, this may be an I don't care, unimportant matter, and why should I even bother if it's a done deal, and given the goings-on in our community, you may be right. But it's the lack of transparency that bothers me the most. Obviously, not every decision needs a public hearing, but no matter how small the board perceives a matter, it should be at least discussed in public, especially when it concerns our public facilities and possible taxpayer money being spent. It bothers me that this board and the village board do not have an open line of communication as you did in the past. But I'm even more troubled, Mr. Palermo, that you didn't consult with your board effectively on this. You didn't discuss the osprey nest with all of your board members prior to making your decision. And this is exactly what you complained about in the past. Personal agendas need to be set aside. Transparency was a huge issue in the last election. All of you were elected to represent all of Woodbury. So it's time that single-handed or backdoor decisions stop. The supervisor keeps his board informed. The board keeps the public informed. I hope this was an isolated incident. I really hope that this feeling of unilateral control stops now, and I urge you to join together as a board and with the village for all of our sakes, because Woodbury is depending on you. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Karen. Okay, now we'll move on to public input. Anybody wish to make any discussions on agenda items? I'm not going to go row by row, but if you want to say something, you can raise your hand. Okay. All right, we're going to move on to the administrative business. I need a motion and a second to accept the minutes of 4/19/2018 and 5/3/2018. Do I have a motion and a second and then discussion?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion?
That wasn't here. So.
The record will reflect that Councilman Essick was not here on the 5/3/18. Right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Anything?
No.
Okay. Moving on, we have, I need a motion and a second to accept the work session minutes of 4/3/18 and 5/14/18.
I'll motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Desiree, I need the abstract, please.
Abstract number 10 contains vouchers 2018-0815 through 2018-0880, and it totals $141,394.60.
I need a motion and a second.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have one budget modification.
The modification this evening is for the budget to the supervisor's office by increasing A 599 appropriated fund balance by $3,007 and increasing A 1220.200 equipment by $3,007.
I need a motion and a second, and before we do that, that was to acquire a new printer that's up in the supervisor's office. So I need a motion and a second.
I'll motion.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. New business. We have, Desiree, do you want to read the?
Certainly. Yep. The bid opening was held on May 2nd, 2018 at 10 a.m., and the notice was printed in the Times Herald Record on April 24th, 2018. The following bids were received. There were three. Slack Chemical Supply of Carthage, New York. They bid $1.899 per gallon with no fuel surcharge and no regulatory compliance charge, and they did not attend the mandatory walkthrough. The second bid was received from Weschler Pool and Supply Company of Thompsonville, New York. They bid $1.99 per gallon with a $2.65 per delivery fuel surcharge and a $3.40 per delivery regulatory compliance charge. They did attend the mandatory walkthrough at 2 p.m. that day. And the third bid was from, and I might be saying this wrong, Cohen Company from South Kearney, New Jersey, and they bid $6 per gallon with no fuel charge, no RCC, which is the regulatory compliance charge, and they did not attend the walkthrough either.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you want any discussion? I will make the motion, actually, that we go with the second person on there. I don't have their name.
Weschler Pool and
Weschler.
Supply.
Yes, they did attend the mandatory walkthrough. The other two did not, and I did speak with Bobby, who is basically in charge of all of that, and he has also recommended that we go with
Weschler.
Weschler.
I'll
So
I'll
I'm
second
making the
the
motion.
I'll second the motion.
Is there any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Now we're going to have the appointment of Officer Eric B. Harden, and that is with an I instead of an E, because it's on the agenda. I spelled it wrong, I'm sorry. To first investigator/detective for a starting date of June 9, 2018, at the salary of $92,847 yearly.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it. Any questions?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Well, congratulations, Mr. Harden. There is no old business. Desiree, the supervisor's report, please.
The supervisor's report for April 2018 has receipts totaling $119,893.87 and disbursements totaling $845,916.57.
I need a motion and a second.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We did receive the town clerk's report for April 2018, the buildings and grounds, March and April 2018, the ACO report, April 2018, the police communications report, April 2018, beautification committee minutes for 4/12/18, as well as 5/10/18, the library for April 4th, 2018, and April 24th, 2018, their minutes. Parks and Recreation, April 2018, and we received actually two budget versus actuals. You received the 2018, April 2018, and you received the December 2017, and that's because it takes several months to close out the year, and that was finally accomplished, so you received that final copy for 2017. And that ends our board meeting. Bob?
I would like to wish the best of luck to the Grinrod family and the Etzel family on their retirement from Ace Farm. Ace Farm is closed after 101 years. I think they're on their third generation up there, family-run business. They were big volunteers with the ambulance corps. They were always there. You could always count on them for the ambulance corps. And just a fine family, salt-of-the-earth people. I really hope they do well in their, whatever their future plans are. And also, on another, I'm a little confused about this osprey nest. I'd like some clarification on how and why it was thought it was needed, and because it's kind of news to me. So if Frank or somebody has information on it.
I'll gladly talk about it. We met at a meeting. I had someone who, yes, she is a friend of mine. She's a very big into birds. In fact, she's an Audubon Society person, and she's very knowledgeable in birds, and she has spotted our osprey. And she said to me that if you build a nest or you put up the framework for them to build a nest, they will come back every year. And I just think that it's a very interesting thing. I've noticed many people up there, because I go up there quite often. I see many people watching them and observing them flying. They're beautiful animals. You would think it was an eagle. In fact, I thought it was an eagle. And in fact, I think, right, we all thought that it was an eagle at first. Yeah, Joey. So, I mean, we have birds. They live up there. I see it as a great chance to ecologically get them to stay there. I think it's something that the school system can get involved in and come out and observe it. I see nothing wrong with it. Fish get eaten every day, and, you know, whether it's by predators or not, they're there. So whether you build it or not, they're still going to be eating the fish. It's not costing us anything. We have the pole already. The building department found an old soccer pole that they have that's 25 feet high, so they don't have to cut anything. Put up it's a crate, you put it on top of it, and I see no negatives involved in having this done. And I didn't think that I needed a public hearing or the entire public's approval to go forward with this. I did speak to several board members. I'm not sure if I spoke to you or not, Bob, but my other board members were aware of it. No one had a problem with it, and so it hasn't been put up yet, but I see no reason why it shouldn't be. It'll be on the island that's in the middle of our pond, so it's away from people. They can't go up to disturb it or anything like that, and I have no problems moving forward with it.
Was this moved through the Parks Commissioners at all?
I did ask the park commissioner, the chairman, to show up that day, but he had a previous engagement, so he couldn't make it, but it was brought before the entire Parks Commission.
And they were okay with it?
Well-
I actually attended a meeting with the Parks Commissioner and the Parks Department, and there were concerns that I emailed all of the board members about. So I did send an email out specifying the details, the minutes of the meeting, and I also detailed concerns and questions that the commissioners had, and that was emailed to all board members.
And when speaking with, Fred Unger did come in to see me personally to talk about it. And it was my feeling that, yes, he had a couple of people on his board that were not crazy about it, but he himself was not, against it, so I saw no reason to go forward with it. And I really don't. I don't know what people are making a big deal about putting up a nest. They're living there anyway. So what's the problem? I mean, is it that I didn't, like it was pointed out, I didn't come out publicly and make a big spiel about it? Well, I'm sorry if people feel that way about it. And to put it on social media, well, I've been getting hammered on social media by the moderators for going on there and putting things on, because I'm the supervisor. So the reality of it is, no, I didn't go crazy with it. I thought it was a simple project that people could enjoy. People would be entertained by it. I know I am. I've gone up there, and to watch those birds flying is spectacular. So that's my feeling on it. And do I
I
think?
just have a question. Jackie,
Sure.
you said that the commissioners spoke about this, so there's minutes on this, and the commissioners, did they vote? Did they have a discussion?
Use the mic, please.
My mic's on.
Can't hear you.
You talking to me now?
Well, because you're talking to Jackie now.
Did the commissioners speak, and did they have a discussion on it? Did they vote on it, or?
When we had the discussion, they had a lot of questions about the project, and I told them that I would take notes about their projects and bring it back to Frank, and that I would disseminate the information to the board. So there was no decision. The commissioners did make it very clear that they wanted to be a part of the decision-making process, because that's why they're the commissioners of the park. So that was relayed in the minutes, the minutes that I sent out to the board members. So it is documented in the minutes. There was a discussion about it. There was no decision made, and the concerns were outlined in that email.
So why don't we just request at the next work session, have the commissioners attend?
No, I have no problems with it. I mean, and we'll hear some of the concerns.
Frank, can I say one? Should I come up?
You got 3 seconds.
While he's coming up there, can someone get me a copy of that correspondence that Councilman Hernandez was talking about? Because I'm sure it'll be foiled tomorrow. Thank you.
I'll email it to you, Desiree.
Thank you. Because I wasn't included, so I didn't have it.
First of all, my wife, what she said was independent from my thoughts. I just want to correct one thing. When I went to see Mr. Palermo at his office after I found out about this, I was basically neutral about it, so I wasn't really for it or
Right,
against
that,
it.
I was trying
Right.
to maintain
The,
that.
the parks commissioners, their big complaint is only that we weren't consulted in advance. That was their main concern, and that's what the uproar was about.
Okay.
Okay.
And like I said, it's not a problem.
No, and Mrs.
I had Jackie come down. I didn't have to personally do it,
No,
but
Mrs. Hernandez
Jackie,
was there,
brought
and I
it
mentioned
to
that to
them.
her, that was the main concern that we had.
Right. And it just so happened that the meeting fell when you were away. You had
Right.
a prior commitment, and it was when we could have all meet, so
No. it
that's
was
when we did it.
It was unfortunate that I had tickets to Kinky Boots.
You probably had more fun than we did, trust me.
So,
Okay.
Mr. Supervisor, so my recommendation is to notify all the commissioners for the next work session. Let's hear their input, and let's go from there.
Okay. I'll reserve my my comments right now. Go ahead, Mr. Essick.
No, that's basically what I'm saying. It's
No,
up to you.
it's your turn, to talk.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you were closing the subject on that. Okay. Pretty much, congratulations to Detective Harden on his new position. I know the holidays will be coming up. The roads will get a little congested, and now everybody knows what 32 looks like. Some days you're on the right lane, some days you're on the left lane. So I'd say just be really cautious moving forward, because we have no idea what DOT might do before the holidays. So if there's more issues that the lines aren't clear enough, don't hesitate to contact us. That's basically, so we can get a hold of DOT and speak to them and make sure that nobody gets hurt. That's the basic. We don't want to see anybody get injured. That's it. Thank you.
And I will mention on that note that the upcoming Thursday, they will, at 3 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken, they will shut down the project, and they will not restart again until Tuesday. So there will be no construction during the holiday. Deputy Supervisor?
I just want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. I wanted to congratulate our new junior deputy supervisor. I also wanted to just make the general announcement that I know that this week we were slammed with a horrible storm, and I know that there's been a lot of discussion about information being disseminated about reparation. There's some communities that have been without power or continue without power. So definitely I want to just, reach out to the community. If there are families that are in need of any assistance, whether it's electricity or otherwise, if there's anything that the town board can do, we definitely want to present ourselves as available if there's needs in our community that need to be met. I do know that Cornwall and New Windsor are still struggling through this, and I believe parts of Blooming Grove. So we definitely want to extend that to the community. If there are things that are needed that we can be of assistance, we want to definitely put ourselves available, make ourselves available to the community. The other item is an announcement. The Central Valley Library will be celebrating their reopening this Saturday. They've worked very hard. I know the Buildings and Grounds has done a wonderful job in helping them to get it up to par. And they're looking to open on the 19th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. There'll be a ribbon cutting at 12 o'clock p.m. And they're really hoping to have a big support from our community. Some of the activities are going to include arts and crafts. They're going to have some music. They have Bob Barlow, who is going to be helping the children write their own music and singing it at the ribbon cutting. And then I believe they have some activities at the end. So, of course, if you have any questions or would like to register for the workshop, please call 928-2114, or you can sign up online on the library website. And thank you.
Okay, I just have a few announcements. There's a few thank yous that I want to put out there today. First of all, we had written, the chief and I had written to Walmart to get some brand-new TVs for our camera system. And I have to thank Mr. Scott Satherfield of Walmart, who delivered 3 brand-new 40-inch TV systems for the town of Woodbury. So I want to thank Walmart and Scott. We're very appreciative of that donation. Second person is Mr. Brian Williams. He delivered 15 autism sensory boxes for the PD to be carrying around in our automobiles. It's a very important project. The police have come across. Maybe you want to describe it, Chief?
They're individual kits that we now keep in the police car should we have to deal with somebody who has autism. Sometimes these tools and these things that they put in the boxes will allow them to be able to pay a little bit more attention to us and keep them focused without having the fear of maybe perhaps somebody new, or there's different items that are in there. I think they're described in the email that I gave to you.
Right.
But every car will have them from now on, should we come across somebody with autism.
Thank you. So I want to thank Mr. Williams for delivering those for us. I'm going to give a shout out and a thank you to Glenn McKenzie of McKenzie Auto. He took his time during the day, spent 2 hours with Joey, which Joey tells me was probably 2 hours of the greatest moments of his life. And what they did was they went and picked up 2 basketball courts, the portable ones, up in, you got that up in New Windsor? Yes, up into New Windsor, and delivered them back and brought them to our park. So thank you, Glenn McKenzie, for that donation and your time and your truck. And the last thing that I had to say was the library reopening, which it'll be redundant if I say it. So I want to thank Jackie for bringing that up first. I'm not done. Many of you travel through Central Valley may have noticed a little sign there that will tell you how fast you're going now. The police department has purchased several of these, along with a counter that is going to let us know how fast you're going, what time of day you're going, and give us some patterns. And I'm saying this to the people of Woodbury because I think you should be alerted to a fact that's happening now with our police department. In February 2018, they wrote 158 traffic citations. We have added a few police officers, and in March of 2018, it went up to 202 traffic violations. And now that we're really moving it, in April, it's now up to 260 traffic violations. And I hope you get the pattern that it's going up. I keep saying this on my campaign. Many of us were out there, and one of the biggest complaints are speeders that are going through the town of Woodbury. And I have spoken with the chief and his and the sergeants, and I made it very clear to them that this needs to be controlled. And as you can see through these numbers, they're putting out a lot of tickets. So it will be to your advantage to start slowing down throughout the town of Woodbury. And I have one more report that I want to make, if I can find it. Since we've added our 3 new police officers and beefed up our staff along with our sergeants, in April, as of April 2018, for the 2 months, March and April, the town has had 125 negative overtime for shift coverage. That's 125 hours that we're not paying somebody close to $60 to $75 an hour. So I want to thank the chief for his work in all this participation, and I want to thank the town board for approving the manpower, and I want to thank our police department because they're out there and they're working for the town of Woodbury. So thank you very much. Desiree?
I have just 3 announcements. The first is a reminder that this Sunday is a rabies clinic, the 20th. I think it's Sunday or Saturday? Saturday?
Sunday.
20th? This Sunday, there's a rabies clinic up at the Highway Garage from 10 a.m. to noon. On June 9th, a bunch of different nonprofits in the community have come together once again to raise funds for a Woodbury resident that is in need. We're going to be having a all-you-can-eat barbecue and a night at the races at the St. Patrick's Church parking lot barbecue, night at the races in the gymnasium at the St. Patrick's Church, to raise funds for Michael Hansen. For those of you who don't know Michael Hansen, he is a volunteer fireman for many years. He also was the emergency disaster coordinator for the town of Woodbury. He wrote our emergency plan for the town and village of Woodbury. He was also a first responder at the Oklahoma bombing as well as September 11th. And he is in need of some assistance for a disease he has that's very, very bad for him. So it's an all-you-can-eat barbecue. The tickets are available at the town clerk's office, being sold after different masses at the church, and I think the Parks Department has some, or if not, they will. And the night at the races is being put on with the Knights of Columbus, which I hear is a lot of fun. They had it last year for the first time. So please come out and support that. Again, that's June 9th, 6 o'clock is the barbecue, all you can eat. And 7:30 is when the races start at post time. And last but not least, I'm proud and happy to announce that the Woodbury Chamber of Commerce is going to be having a farmer's market in the town of Woodbury starting June 3rd through November 18th on Sundays down on Valley Avenue from where Peroni Circle starts to Peroni Lane. It'll be from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Parking's along Smith Clove Road in Peroni Circle or in the Smith Clove Elementary School parking lot. That's it.
Thank you. Chief?
I just want to thank you for the appointment of Eric Harden. It's a much needed. It's been vacant for a while since Sergeant Bauer was promoted. So I do appreciate that. I appreciate your comments about the PD and our work that we do, but they're not needed. However, I do appreciate them. And last but not least, just to touch on what Councilman said, with the upcoming Memorial Day holiday, I'm also on the 27th, the day of the parade, and also what we're expected to have with the normal influx of shopping at the Commons. Again, if people could try to avoid that southern part of our town, it probably would benefit them if they could possibly seek alternate routes wherever they're traveling. And again, very big portion of 32 will be shut down on May 27th, the day of our Memorial Day parade.
Thank you.
That's another thing we forgot to mention, the parade.
Oh, there's a parade?
We got to mention the parade, Memorial Day parade.
Yes, there will be a parade on, it's the 27th, Chief? On May 27th, of course, Memorial Day Parade. Please come out. We'll all be marching, as far as I know, and it's usually a great day, so come on out and cheer us on. Appreciate it. With that, I need a motion to close the meeting.
Make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for coming out tonight.